Just another delivery app? I still remember that night like it was yesterday. We were in my parents' living room. I had just finished laying out my business plan across the dining table, feeling nervous but hopeful. I had worked on this idea for months. I believed in it with everything I had. But Tom, my older brother, laughed so hard his voice echoed through the room. A delivery app? That's your big idea, Ethan, he said, shaking his head. Seriously, another delivery app? Lisa, my sister, didn't even look up from her phone, because the world really needs another way to get takeout, she said, smirking. That's so original, little brother. I took a deep breath and tried to explain. It's not just about takeout. SwiftSur is going to help local businesses with deliveries, not just restaurants, but grocery stores, pharmacies, small retail shops, anyone who needs help reaching customers. Tom rolled his eyes. Uber Eats and DoorDash already do that. You're late to the game, Ethan, it's over. I felt my face get hot. I was 25, the youngest of the Hamilton siblings. Tom was 32, a big shot sales director at a Fortune 500 company. Lisa was 28 and already a junior partner at a consulting firm. And me? I had just quit my steady job as a software developer to chase a dream. But they only work with big chains, I said, trying to stay calm. SwiftSur will focus on local businesses. We'll offer better prices, more flexibility, and tools to help them manage their inventory and grow. Lisa finally looked up. You, managing anything? You could barely keep your last job. I quit that job, I said, because this idea matters to me. Tom laughed. So you quit a good job to build something that already exists? Great move. Right then, our parents walked in with coffee and dessert. My mom saw the tension and frowned. Oh, Ethan, she said softly, are you still going on about this app? Let's just hear him out. My dad said gently, but I could see the concern in his eyes too, the same look he gave me when I first told him I was leaving my job. I've already secured early investors, I said quickly. We're starting beta testing next month. And how much of your savings have you burned through? Tom asked, because when this flops, and it will, you'll need something to fall back on. What they didn't know was that I had already emptied my savings, sold my car, and moved into a tiny studio apartment. I'd been eating instant noodles and working 20-hour days for 6 months. I know what I'm doing, I said quietly. Lisa laughed again. Like when you tried to build that social media platform in college, or the crypto bot last year that was supposed to make us all rich? This isn't like those times, I said. SwiftSur is different. I've done the research, built the tech, and found real partners. Honey, Mom said, using that soft tone that always made me feel small. Maybe it's time to be practical. Tom could get you an IT job at his company. I stood up. I'm not looking for a job. I'm building something big. Tom scoffed. You're chasing a fantasy, Ethan. The market's already taken. You're going to lose everything. I looked around at all of them. They didn't believe in me. None of them even bothered to read my business plan or ask real questions. You're wrong, I said, and one day, you'll see just how wrong you were. I packed up my notes and walked out of the house with their laughter behind me. I got into my old Honda Civic, the only thing I hadn't sold, and drove home. That night, in my tiny studio apartment, I worked until the sun came up. What they didn't know was that SwiftSur was nearly ready. We had already signed up 50 local businesses in our test area. Our lead developer, Marcus, texted me that night. Back-end done, ready for testing. I smiled. They thought this was just another delivery app. They couldn't see what we were really building, a system that would help small businesses survive in a world dominated by big companies. The next few months were a blur: coding, testing, meetings, endless coffee. We launched our beta version in a college town and started working with restaurants, bookstores, and grocers. The results came fast. SwiftSur wasn't just helping them deliver, it was helping them grow. Our platform gave them tools to manage inventory, understand their customers, and reach new ones. It was more than an app, it was a lifeline. 3 months after that awful family dinner, a local newspaper ran a story about us. The article talked about how SwiftSur helped save a historic bookstore from closing. The owner said, "It's not just delivery, it's like having a whole digital team in our pocket." That article caught the eye of a major venture capital firm. Suddenly, I was getting calls from investors who had ignored me before. But I didn't tell my family. I wanted them to keep thinking I was failing. Let them laugh, let them doubt me. Success would speak for itself. 6 months after we launched, SwiftSur expanded to 3 cities. Our users were growing fast, and our partner businesses were seeing revenue jump by up to 40%. Then one day, I got the call that changed everything. "Ethan Hamilton," a voice said. "Yes? This is James Morrison from Tech Fund Ventures. We've been following SwiftSur's growth. We're interested in leading your Series A round. How does 50 million sound to start?" I nearly dropped the phone. He continued, "We've reviewed your tech and your plan. We believe SwiftSur is the future of local commerce." The future of local commerce. The same idea my family mocked now had the backing of one of the top venture capital firms in the country. Later that day, I saw messages in the family group chat. "Tom, hey everyone, big news, I just got promoted to VP of Sales. Lisa, congrats, dinner to celebrate? Mom, so proud of you, honey. Dad, that's my boy." I stared at those messages. I remembered how they used to celebrate each other's wins while brushing mine off like they didn't matter. But soon, very soon, they'd see. Because I wasn't just chasing a dream anymore. I was building a future. And we were just getting started. Not for sale. You'd think closing deals worth hundreds of millions would be enough for them to stop offering me opportunities. But even now, after everything, my siblings still thought I needed help finding a job. After the last investor call, Sarah came into my office with her usual calm professionalism. "The acquisition team from Delivery Jant is here," she said. "They're waiting in the main conference room." I glanced at my schedule and nodded. Delivery Jant, the same company my brother Tom once told me would crush any startup trying to enter the delivery space. Now they were here, nervous, waiting, hoping I'd agree to sell the company they once thought would never succeed. "Tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes, I said, adjusting my tailored Brioni suit. A little reminder to myself of how far I'd come. My family didn't know about the suit, or the downtown skyscraper we now called headquarters, or the hundreds of employees working across 20 cities. Success had come, just not in the way they ever expected. When I entered the room, I saw the CEO himself, Mark Stevens, standing to greet me. His smile was polite but tight. His team didn't look relaxed either. "Ethan," he said, "thanks for making time. We'll keep this short. We want to acquire SwiftSur. Name your price." I sat down slowly, letting the silence stretch just a little. A year ago, they wouldn't have even returned my emails. Now here they were, offering me a blank check. "Not interested, Mark," I said with a small smile, "but thanks for coming by." Mark leaned forward. "We're prepared to offer $2 billion, cash and stock." $2 billion. My brother once laughed when I said I was building a delivery app. He told me I was wasting my time, that companies like Delivery Jant had already won. I looked at Mark and said, "SwiftSur isn't just another delivery app. Your model is built on big chains and franchises. Ours is built around local businesses, helping the small players compete, survive, and grow. You're offering $2 billion because you know what we're building is worth a lot more." Mark barely hesitated. $3 billion. I stood up. "Let me show you something." I led them down the hall to our operations center. Floor-to-ceiling screens filled the space, showing real-time deliveries across cities, live inventory updates from shops and restaurants, customer analytics, performance data, everything. It was the heart of SwiftSur, a living, breathing network that powered thousands of small businesses. "This," I said, "is the future of local commerce, and it's not for sale." They left not long after, clearly rattled. Back in my office, I noticed a few missed calls. Lisa, again. She'd been reaching out more lately, curious, maybe, or just confused. I finally called her back. "Ethan," she said brightly, "I've been meaning to talk to you. I was thinking about your situation, you know, with that app and everything. My firm is opening a digital division, and I might be able to get you in as a junior analyst. It's a great starting point." A junior analyst. I blinked, barely believing what I'd just heard. "Lisa," I said slowly, "how's consulting going these days?" She perked up. "Amazing, we just signed a big new client in tech, Anderson Global. They need help restructuring their digital strategy." I smiled to myself. "Anderson Global, you sure about that?" There was a pause. "Yeah, why?" "Because they're one of our newest clients. They're implementing SwiftSur across their retail division. The contract's worth $50 million. Silence. That app thing you think I'm wasting time on? We're now in 20 cities, over 1,000 employees, and we were just valued at $3.5 billion. Lisa's voice was quiet now. That can't be right. It is. You'd know, if any of you ever asked about my work, if you'd read the plan I showed you, if you cared enough to listen instead of laugh. Sarah appeared in the doorway again. Mr. Hamilton, the board meeting is starting. I have to go, I told Lisa. A board meeting? She said, clearly stunned. Oh, and thanks for the junior analyst suggestion, I added. Always good to have a backup plan, right? I ended the call before she could reply. The board meeting was a success. Our expansion was ahead of schedule, revenue had tripled, and we had just acquired our biggest local competitor. The team clapped as I finished the presentation. Then my phone buzzed. Tom, just heard something interesting about SwiftSur. Need to talk, ASAP. I laughed quietly. So, word was finally reaching them. But they still didn't know the biggest news. We were going public. And soon, the companies both Tom and Lisa worked for, companies that had ignored and mocked small tech players for years, would be facing major restructuring. Their market share was shrinking fast. And the reason? SwiftSur. I opened my laptop and typed a quick message to our HR department. Subject, future applicants. Message, if we receive applications from Tom or Lisa Hamilton, please forward them directly to me. Let's just say, SwiftSur was hiring. And the family who laughed at my dreams was about to learn what it looked like when those dreams turned into a billion-dollar reality. I had waited long enough to teach them that lesson. Now, I was ready.